Hello, and thank you for joining. In this video, our discussion is something that has fascinated and divided humanity for millennia: God. More specifically, the question of the Creator and the debate between religion and science over the origin of the universe and life itself. Religions have emerged throughout history, each with its own unique conception of the divine, its own understanding of the Creator, and its own description of how this Creator interacts with the universe and humanity. People across the world have clung to these beliefs as truths, many even to the point of conflict, where wars have been fought in the name of convincing others of the correct definition of the Creator. This struggle over whose definition of God is the right one is a theme that weaves through the fabric of human history. But let's take a step back and ask, what is religion really? Religion, at its core, is a system of belief. It provides a framework for understanding the Creator, the source of all life, existence, and order in the universe. Yet, as we know, these religious traditions vary widely, each with its own interpretation of who or what the Creator is, how the universe came into being, and the purpose of human life. These beliefs, often deeply held and passionately defended, center around the idea of a higher power or divine being that created the world and sustains life. When we follow a religion, we are essentially accepting that the founders of that religion, whether it's Moses, Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, or any other religious figure, were telling the truth about who they say they are and the Creator. We believe that their definitions, their descriptions of God, are accurate depictions of reality. We will call it positive faith. But here's the thing. Belief does not make something true. Believing something is true does not automatically make it so. We see this in many aspects of life. Throughout history, people have believed things that were later proven to be false. The Earth was once thought to be flat, for example, and we know now that it is round. So, just because a group of people believes that their religious teachings are the true account of the Creator, that doesn't mean their belief is objectively true. The power of belief and the search for truth. But there is a critical distinction between faith and scientific inquiry. Science, as we know it today, is the pursuit of knowledge through observation, experimentation, and evidence. It is built on the idea that knowledge must be based on empirical data, observable and testable facts. By contrast, faith, religious faith specifically, is based on conviction without necessarily needing observable proof. Faith is about believing in something deeply, sometimes without the need for physical evidence. It is a belief in the unseen, in something greater than oneself, and often rooted in personal, subjective experiences. But here's the issue that I want to address today. Negative faith, particularly as seen in the worldview of many atheists, is a complex phenomenon. Atheism is often presented as the belief that there is no God. Many atheists, in their rejection of the Creator, often attempt to invoke science as the foundation of their conclusion, trying to dress their argument up in scientific language to make it sound more compelling, more reasonable. The undeniable fact in this is that atheism is not scientific but an opposing belief, and I'll tell you why. Science is about evidence, not ideology. Science is a method, a rigorous process based on evidence and testable hypotheses. It doesn't make conclusions based on ideology or belief. It makes conclusions based on data. And here's the critical point. When it comes to the existence of a Creator, neither side, the religious nor the atheist, has concrete, irrefutable evidence to prove their point. Both sides rely on faith in one form or another. The religious person may have faith in the teachings of their tradition, while the atheist has faith in the idea that God does not exist. Atheism often tries to use the language of science to make its case. It might point to the Big Bang Theory or evolution, or the apparent randomness of the universe, and claim that these natural processes are evidence that there is no Creator. But this is not science. This is interpretation, just as religion is. No matter how often you say it, the idea that life arose purely by accident or that the universe is simply a product of a random process is not scientific truth. It is a philosophical stance, a belief. When atheists argue that the universe came from nothing, or that life came from random chemical reactions, they are making an assertion, one that can't be empirically proven. It is not based on observation, nor can it be tested or falsified in a laboratory. It is a belief, a worldview that they've chosen to accept, but it is not grounded in the scientific method. It is frankly made up. And this is a critical distinction we need to understand. Atheism in this sense is a form of negative faith, faith in the absence of God. The flaws in atheistic arguments. Take, for example, the claim that the universe came from nothing. We hear this argument from many leading atheists and scientists, like Stephen Hawking, who famously suggested that the universe could have arisen from a quantum fluctuation in a vacuum without any divine cause. But let's consider this. What does nothing mean? If you look at what physicists actually mean by nothing, it's not the total absence of existence. It's actually a type of quantum field or potential. So, even in the claim of nothing, there is still something, some law, some energy, some potential. It's a sleight of hand, an attempt to make a metaphysical argument sound scientific. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share this video with someone who might need a deeper understanding of God. Your support helps us spread valuable insights that can enrich lives and relationships. Thank you for being part of the conversation. But here's the real issue. Nothing cannot create something. We all know that from everyday experience. If I stand in an empty room and wait for a chair to appear from thin air, I know nothing is going to happen.
Why?
Because we understand that cause and effect are universal laws. For something to exist, there must be a cause. This basic principle of logic and observation applies across every field of science. Yet when it comes to the origin of the universe, atheists want us to believe that somehow, without cause, a massive explosion occurred, an explosion that created all the matter and energy we see today. That defies our basic understanding of reality. To claim that something can come from nothing is not a scientific argument. It's a metaphysical leap. It's an attempt to fill the gap where scientific explanation ends with a conclusion that is unsupported by evidence. This is faith masquerading as science, and it is not based on observation or experimentation. The true scientific approach. The scientific method is supposed to be about following the evidence wherever it leads. If we have no definitive evidence either way, whether for or against a creator, then it is scientifically honest to say that we do not know. But this is not the position many atheists take. Instead, they go a step further, closing the door to the possibility of a creator without offering a shred of conclusive evidence to support their rejection. What should the scientific approach be? The most reasonable position is agnosticism, or better yet, a humble acknowledgement that we do not know the answer yet. Science can tell us many things about how the universe operates, but it cannot definitively answer the question of why it exists or where it came from. That is a question that may lie beyond the reach of the scientific method, perhaps in the realm of philosophy, theology, or something else entirely. But to present atheism as scientifically sound, when in fact it is based on belief, just like religion, is misleading. In conclusion, it takes far less intellectual and emotional energy to have faith in the existence of a creator than to argue that life, existence, and the vast complexity of the universe arose from nothing. While positive faith has its own challenges, particularly the endless wars over whose definition of the creator is the correct one, there is still an underlying logic to it. The idea of a creator fits within the framework of human reason, acknowledging that something greater than us must be behind the intricacies of life. In a sense, those who believe in the creator were at least present in the science class of existence, attempting to make sense of the world. As a joke, we might say they dropped out after the first lesson on creation and made up stories along the way. But at least they tried to engage with the big questions. On the other hand, figures like Neil deGrasse Tyson, Stephen Hawking, and others, while undoubtedly brilliant, seem to have skipped that foundational class altogether. They bypassed the most essential questions, choosing instead to align with a philosophy that disregards the very possibility of a creator, yet still attempt to sound intellectually rigorous by citing theories that leave more questions than answers. To truly understand the universe, we must first acknowledge the limits of both science and faith, and the possibility that neither can provide all the answers on their own. Thank you for watching. If you found this discussion thought-provoking, please subscribe, like, and share with others. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let us know which religion you're a part of, and if this discussion has changed your perspective. Feel free to share which point made you reflect the most. Your feedback is important, and together we can continue exploring these deep questions of existence. Take care, and see you in the next video.